So I have ADHD. I know this because it's like one of the few things that I know about myself. And I've been trying to get a diagnosis for ADHD so I can get proper treatment, medicine, and whatever else is going to help me. Because I struggle every day with executive dysfunction, rejection sensitivity, all of this stuff. So I've known I've had this for a long time. And for a long time, I've been struggling to get literally, been trying to get literally like any assistance with this. I've seen a bunch of doctors, none of them take me seriously, and I'm like, people haven't, they don't care, or they want to like rule out all this other stuff first. So like, yeah, I have anxiety. Yes, I have depression. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. You know why I have anxiety? Because of my executive dysfunction, making it impossible for me to do the things I want to do. That is why I'm anxious. That's like 80% of my anxiety is based on that. My depression, I get depressed because ADHD comes along with something called rejection sensitivity dysphoria, where you feel a sense of rejection with the smallest things. Even if someone isn't actively rejecting you, like if like the smallest like slight feels like the biggest rejection. And that's where most of my depression comes from. So like I know this is what I'm dealing with, but doctors haven't taken me seriously. So finally, I even did an online assessment. It cost me over $100. It says ADHD inattentive type. And I was like, cool. Maybe if I show this to doctors, they'll be like, okay, I'll help you. Nope, that didn't happen. This has been years. This has been since like 2017. I've been in this process of trying to get someone to take me seriously. I actually got prescribed with Adderall in 2017. My insurance refused to cover it. My pharmacy refused to fill it because they thought I was going to sell it. Because I didn't have this as a kid. Or rather, I had this as a kid. The situation I was in, they weren't able to. The situation I was in, it wasn't taken seriously as a kid. So years and years and years and years of this, and finally, I get a doctor who is willing to take me seriously. And is like, you know what? We will do an assessment on the 28th. And I'm like, awesome. And I get there and they say, you don't have an appointment. What? You're not on the schedule. What? I don't have an appointment. Literally, we made the appointment while I was face to face with this doctor. Not even really a doctor, an NP, a nurse practitioner, who are, they are not just standard nurses. They have prescriptive ability and all that stuff. And she can administer this test. And I was like, I was literally face to face with her in a telehealth, and we made the appointment. And they're like, there's no appointment here, blah, blah, blah. And kind of made me feel like I was crazy a little bit, like gaslighting me a little bit. I don't think that was the intention, but, and so like, I'm like, there's no way. There's no way this is happening. There's no way that my appointment just magically disappeared. It's a full freaking assessment. So I'm like, okay, well, that's fun. And they're like trying to contact the NP or whatever. And I'm just sitting there like, this can't be happening to me. all of these years, I've been trying to get this. Just an assessment, just a chance to show that that this is the help that I need. And they're saying that it doesn't happen. So they're trying to get in touch with the MP, and they tell me, okay, well, okay, you can see her on Monday. And I was like, Monday? I was like, Monday, that's odd. Because, like, I could have sworn that she said that she was only available on Friday. But yeah, I was given pause because I was like, she said she could do the 28th or the 5th, which are Fridays. The 1st is very obviously not a Friday. And I was like, are you sure? Because she said she wasn't available. And they were like, I guess she had an opening. And I was like, okay, if that's what she said. You know, they were messaging her like the whole time. And I was like, okay, let's do that then. Sucks because I spent money on transit. And I was pretty emotional at that time because, like, I felt like I was finally at the finish line. You know how when you're finally at the finish line and you're like, yeah, we're almost there, and then it turns out to not be that way? Yeah, that. So I'm a little emotional, but I finally make it home after waiting way too long for transit to do its thing. And then the weekend happens. I had to reschedule my physical therapy appointment today because to make room for this assessment that was totally going to happen. And I get there and I check in today. And once again, they say, hey, you don't have an appointment today. What? How does this happen? How does this happen twice in a row? How? How does this happen twice in a row? I'm like, yeah, I do. And this time I have physical proof because they wrote me a card saying when and where my appointment was. And I was like, card? Here, have card. Look at card. And they're like, yeah, okay. And it was a different receptionist this time. So the front desk manager came up and was like, "Oh yeah, I remember this. I remember this happening." But she's not here today. And I didn't know that she was only there on Fridays, but that was the only time she had available. She had said before. So, I mean, I didn't know what that all meant. So yeah, that's why I had asked, "Hey, are you sure?" And the girl was like, "I guess she just had availability." So, flash forward to now, to today, and she wasn't there. And I was like, "Oh, okay." And so I was sitting there for a while listening to them talk, and then I hear, "Oh, she's booked through June. What do we do?" And so alarm bells are ringing, and I'm like, how many stupid hurdles over how many months to years am I going to have to wait? How many stupid hurdles are there going to be? And like I was getting angry and I raised my voice. I was like, I'm wasting money on transit to get here. I came out here in the rain. I had to reschedule my physical therapy appointment that was supposed to be today so I could do this. Because if you didn't know, I hurt my shoulder. So my physical therapy is very important to me. Um, and I will say that the front desk manager was livid for me. And like evidently, my appointment at 11:15 was supposed to be at this other location that she's at. They didn't tell me that. For about 30 minutes, this girl working at the front desk is just trying to find any spot for me because this NP is now booked through June or booked until June. And this is an assessment. This can't be just a quick appointment. This is a has to be in person and it's going to take at least an hour because it's a assessment. For 30 minutes they're just trying to find anything. Finally, they managed to make an appointment for me for the 23rd. And I say it's a tentative appointment because I don't know if this is they said they weren't sure if it was a half-hour appointment or an hour an appointment and they were supposed to call me back. They have not called me back. So I don't know if it's even a real appointment. But it's on the book. So I get out of there and I rush to catch transit home because it's going to arrive like literally in like 2 minutes. I'm rushing to the point where I'm winded when I get aboard. And then I get a phone call from none other than my NP. And I had like sped to transit like at full speed ahead. I was winded. I was barely breathing. And I get a phone call from my NP who just starts apologizing. I'm so sorry. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I can barely breathe. I am not in a position where I want to be talking to you right now. I appreciate you listening to me rant. This has just been like an ongoing struggle we've been dealing with here.